Hey, it's your boy Chrys, Players Pick Podcast. Here to shout out my sponsor, Road Roaster Coffee. Road Roaster Coffee makes an amazing array of light, medium, and dark roasts. My favorite is this kick-ass right here. You can check out roadroastercoffee.com and use Players Pick as your coupon code for 20% off your very first order. Enjoy the pod.
Players Pick Podcast, picks and perspective with Chris Johnson. Palpable. Paradox. Polarity.
Hey, man.
Peach.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good, nice to meet you, Chris.
You too. I like your background. Is that a PRS or no?
No, that's a Kiesel. But
Okay, cool.
it's a playoff of that style, though, right? It's
Yeah, does it have that cutaway in the cutaway? Is it the bevel?
yeah. I'll grab it real quick.
Yeah.
This is the Crescent model, which is like a sharper version.
Oh yeah.
You know,
So
kind
is that a stock model or is that a custom job?
So Kiesel's pretty much all custom. They have all the custom styles, or I guess shapes, but you get
Right.
you get to customize whatever you want on it. I got the flame maple neck on roasted flame
Oh,
maple.
that's great, man.
And
All right. So let me show you one of mine.
Please.
I'm just gonna pick a random one. This one's cool. This is a Japanese telly that I put a Bigsby on it. It was like $700. It plays better than every one of my guitars but one.
Oof.
But yeah, and it holds tune great.
I love that. You don't see a Bigsby on a telly.
Right, that's why I put it on there. But I'm a huge sucker for binding everywhere. I don't like the belly cuts.
You like it squared off.
Yeah, I like it like a big hunk of wood,
It's funny. I just had that whole conversation with Matt Mitchell from Pussifer. You familiar?
Oh yeah.
So we
Cool.
made I work for Kiesel. That's my main gig on the day to day, and we made a custom Type X guitar, which is this one.
Do you guys do like classic shapes, or is it all just sort of like more metal and?
Oh
like,
yeah, we do classic
futuristic
stuff. Yeah. It's more recent that we do the more classic traditional stuff. I got some telly style and Strat stuff here I can show you too, but
Oh, cool.
this headless shape that we make is a X style guitar, and like it's got these cool
God.
it's got these cool bevels and stuff on it. This is my dog's guitar, actually. I made this guitar for my dog. It's got a paw
That's
print
phenomenal,
on the 12
dude.
fret.
How many
But,
frets is that?
That's it's 24, but it's 8 strings
Oh yeah.
and
Jesus
multi-scale and all that
Christ.
stuff. But Matt Mitchell saw this shape, and he's like, "Oh, I love that shape, but can you take all the futuristic shit off of it? Can you take the bevels off of it?" And it's like, "I don't want no belly cut. I don't want nothing. No bevels. Just make it a chunk of wood, and put a single telly pickup at the bridge, and we're gonna do like I think it's what they call a squire, or is that not a squire, but it's where they only have one pickup and there's still a switch, and
Yeah.
like it's like he's got the bridge is obviously like the bridge position, but then you go to the 3-way to the middle position, and it's got like some capacitors in there to where it simulates a rolled off tone.
Oh, okay.
Halfway rolled off, and then in the bridge position or the neck position is all the way rolled off tone. So it's
That's
only one.
genius.
Yeah, if you take a look at his
super
page,
cool.
you probably
There's a guy or a band called Rickshaw Billy's Burger Control, and if you've never seen them, check them out. They're an Austin band. They're my favorite. Me and like all the dudes, like the heavy metal dudes in Austin, we go to all their shows. We can't believe they're not bigger than they are. But he plays an 8-string, and I think it may be a Kiesel. No, or a Jackson, I'm not sure. But yeah, it's like Melvin's meets like, I don't know, like we're just straight up riff rock, but it's like low as fuck with the A string. It's really cool.
Oh, I love that, man. I'll have to check them out.
Yeah.
This is a one of our what we call a retro solo, but it's our telly.
Oh, it's killer.
You can see that we did some natural binding on that. It's all one piece swamp ash
yeah.
top.
I'm a swamp ash. I love the
yeah.
weight on it. I love
I do too.
weight.
All roasted maple.
Love that, dude.
I've got a couple. I got a blue one over there, and I've got some strats around here. Like I got my first one I ordered was this bad boy. I always wanted a blue sparkle strat. So
oh yeah, reminds me of the first guitar I ever had.
Really?
PV Predator.
Oh, those were actually cool guitars. PV made a couple of good. Yeah, they made a couple of good ones.
That was my first one, man.
Really?
I was like 10 years old. Yeah.
Oh man, that's perfect. Hey, well, that's perfect for me to lead into a line of questioning.
Yeah.
This podcast, if you're not familiar, it's Players Pick podcast, and it's kind of loosely based around guitar picks and
cool.
and life and music and all the stuff that you do on a podcast. But I'm curious always about a player's relationship with guitar picks and like what you remember about your first few. Like, was there anybody that inspired you when you first started playing? And
yeah,
I mean, change through the years, and do you play something different now?
So solely picks.
Yeah, well, tell me about.
So I remember when I first started playing, which I was like 9 or 10 years old, and there was a company called EBE Guitar Picks or EB Guitar Picks, and they were the little alien.
Yes.
The little alien picks. I was fucking obsessed with those. I had, and because I just loved aliens when I was a kid. I still do. Same. But I had like the glow in the dark EBE pick, it's just like I repped that brand so hard solely because it was alien picks. And like we should bring those back, dude.
Gotta bring those back.
What's up with the company?
I don't even know, man. That's super. I'm glad that you brought that up. I hadn't thought about those picks in forever, but I had the glow in the dark one too. I had that one.
Those were the ones. alienpick.com, EBE Universal. Enter the site. Oh my God, the website looks like it's from fucking 1995. But yeah, I guess you can still get them. That's cool.
All right. So that was your first thing, or what?
That was the first picks that I ever remembered. But I mean, I got my first guitar. My first actual guitar was an Alvarez acoustic, and it was bigger than me. And then the next one, so then the next one I got was a Harmony electric out of a JCPenney catalog, which is a piece of shit. And it came with like an even bigger piece of shit amp. And then I got a PV Predator, which I always say is my first guitar because it was like my first real guitar.
Sure.
And then I hated it. I ended up hating it. And like the next year, I got like an Epiphone classic Sunburst because I was in love with Jimmy Page. I was just like, I got to get that guitar.
That's the vibe. Yeah.
I bugged my mom until she bought that for me.
Good job, Mom.
Yeah, right.
So what do you play for guitar picks these days? You're still playing, you're not playing the EVs, you just found out?
No, I'm playing in tune picks. Okay. In tune 88. I'm not too picky. Like they give me like a good deal on the custom CROBOT picks or whatever for like $20 a bag or something. And I use those and get something stupid printed on them every tour. It's something different. One tour was me as an ice cream cone, like because I'm bald. So nice. Like me as the cream, of course. But yeah, or something dumb on there. And it's just more for fans than anything. But yeah, as long as the pick to me is .88, like usually the green ones, or my bass player plays the really sharp picks, and I'm starting to really like that.
Yeah, the really narrow ones.
Really, really narrow ones. I don't know why, but I think that's like a shredder pick, right?
Yeah, it's definitely more of an articulate pick. I mean, it's an acquired taste. I would say Jeff Loomis is a really good example of somebody who uses that style of pick. And the new school guys, I would say Chon and Polyphia. They're both on the Dunlop, the purples, but they're that super sharp Tortex style.
It would be worth getting a handful of them and trying to see if I like them or not. I mean, I say that because I use the standard pick shape, and then they start rounding because I just use them at my crib so much that then they suck. Like there's nothing worse than a really rounded pick, So maybe I should try some sharp ones.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, some people actually like rounded picks. You'd be surprised. It's the weirdest thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, some people actually will take the pick and turn it to the butt end and play with that because they love that more. Or like that, for an example, that band Krungben?
No.
No? They're a Texas band, or they're originally.
Oh no.
Yeah, yeah, it's three-piece, man. I would check them out. You probably heard them. They're like a cross between, they're like international funk and and like disco. I don't know. It's like this weird thing, and they're kind of mostly instrumental. They got a little bit of vocals. It's only guitar, bass, and drums.
I'd probably love it.
Oh, they're super good, man. And if you get to see them live, dude, it's like nothing like seeing them play live, because they'll just get you moving. They're like almost like a party band in a way, but like classy. Like it's a throwback thing too. And the guitarist Mark, he only has one guitar pick for like 8 years now, and it's basically a Tortex green. It's the 88, right? It's like the classic thing that you remember, right?
That's what I play. Yeah.
But he's rounded it off so that it's got equal sides. Like he's played it so long, for 8-9 years. Like this whole thing is all rounded off. So it doesn't matter how he picks it up, but he tucks it inside of his pick guard, and so he doesn't lose it. So every night he tucks it back into the pick guard of the one guitar he has. He only has one guitar, one pick. Like it's the weirdest thing. Like nobody. How do you trust yourself to the water like that, bro?
Dude, I recently played the last thing we did on this last tour. We were at Waterloo Records in Austin. We did an acoustic performance, and we had a friend drive us there, so we didn't have the van. And I was like, shit, I've only got one guitar pick. I was like, I'm gonna drop this in the fucking hole and just be like mid-set, But last song, mid-song, drop the fucking guitar pick in the hole, of course. And I'm like, fucking shit. So I just like smashed. You could barely hear that I was playing because there's like no like attack on it. But I finished the song, and usually by the end of like a tour longer than a month, my whole finger is so thin and sore just from rubbing on strings, from how I play. I just play hard. But yeah, the nail like always goes back to nothing and recesses.
Yeah. But I've had that situation playing live. When I was playing live, I would play a little hard myself, and I would start to like bleed a little bit there sometimes.
Yeah.
Around the cuticle.
That, and like, I'll see if I still got it. No, I think they healed up. Well, there's like a couple things like right here, but I play like the stop tailpiece telly bridge, so it's like got all the screws up top, and I like throw my guitar and stuff, so when I catch it and I come down, a lot of times my hand lands on that bridge, so it is constantly shredded up here, man. Like when I'm on tour, there's just scabs and like calluses, and it's just like, it gets pretty brutal.
But that sounds kind of like you guys' vibe, though. You kind of like the vibe of like getting in the van and just going, right? Like
that's the thing. I mean, that's just the way it is, right? I mean, whether we like it or not, if we want to play music, you're going to have to get in the van. You're going to have to sweat it out with your boys. You're going to have some good nights and some bad nights. And that's all part of it, man. But it's fun. I mean, to us, it's fun, right? Like my wife could never fucking do it. She's came on the road a couple times and she's like, I will never again do this.
Yeah, that is part of the romance of the road, I think, you know, as especially, you know, there's just something about being out there peddling your wares and not knowing who you're going to run into at this show, at that show, and I think, I mean, maybe for you guys are much bigger than my band ever was. So it's like, you know who you're going to be playing with most of the time, but, you know, in a lot of ways, when you go out and you hit the road, like you show up and there's local openers, you never seen them or heard them before or something. And then you get turned on to something. You're like, oh shit, like this is a great band.
Yeah. So many bands I've fallen in love with because of that, or bands I've toured with that I wasn't a fan of before that I became a huge fan of. But I mean, just like putting yourself out there into the situation is the thrill of it, you know. And even just the fact of like doing what we do, making music or being an artist in general, that is part of like what makes it like exhilarating. Is we're not making a lot of money. It's never about money, but you could.
Sure.
You just don't know. Like crazier shits happen. But and that's sort of the fun of like, man, you know, the band, and it's not even about money. It's like success and like people hearing and loving the music. Like one day you could wake up and you could have a fucking viral whatever the fuck, and all of a sudden people want you to come here and do this and play these shows, and you have a whole new fan base. So I don't know. That's the fun of it for me. It's like you just don't know what's around the corner.
That is awesome, man. And I love the way the road inspires you, especially after you get a handful of shows in. Like maybe it's depending on how long your thing is, but it's usually a handful of shows and the band all starts hitting real hard because you're not thinking much.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, we got this.
Yeah.
I see you guys.
It takes about a week or a few days, you know, and then you're in your stride, and everyone, like our merch guy, our team, you know, merch guy team, same guy, but like he's all set. All he has to do is just set up, you know, and he's good to go, and we're all in our routines. It's a good feeling, man. And like those are the happiest days on tour, you know. It's not the last week when everyone's like tired as shit and about ready to go home, but it's like as soon as you're settled into it, and that section of touring can last, you know, it can last a good chunk. So those are the best times, man.
Yeah, so like if you got like a 4-week tour, then maybe those middle 2 weeks roughly are like the sweet spot.
The best.
Huh? Yeah,
that's the best.
I could see that. Do you have any favorite songs to play live, like out of your catalog or off this new album?
Right now, I really like playing. There's 2 songs. I really like playing "Dizzy." It's just like it's a classic CROBOT song.
So good.
Brandon's vocals are like soaring and aggressive. It's, you know, Tom Morello as fuck, you know, and then Without Wings. I really like playing that one. It's the first time I've ever tuned to C. Like usually we're a half step down standard, but for this one everything's a half step down, and then I tune the top string to C. So it's like half step down, drop D, and then a half step down from that. Oh, so wow. I have to play everything in like the 4th position for the octave, you know, instead of 5th. And I just have to watch, you know, not hit playing too hard so it doesn't arc, you know. But it's our closer, and it sticks out because of that, because it's just like such a Dio Sabbath chugging song that it just feels heavier in the set because of the tuning, you know.
That's cool. Yeah, well that leads me to ask, like, I love how committed you are to the octave. Like you are a man of the octave. And like it's like I listened through the catalog again last few days, and I'm just like, man, Chrys has been there. And I was wondering, I haven't done the research to look up your pedals or nothing, but like you were talking about hitting the octave, on the fourth instead of the fifth. And I'm curious, like, um, do you use just one octave pedal? Is it a lot of times what I'm hearing is you're actually playing the octave more than it is an octave pedal, or?
It's a micro pog always, and I have it
Oh,
set to where there's 3 knobs up top. The first one's all dimed out. Then the sub octaves at about 11, and then the high octaves at about 1. Or no, it's at about like 3 o'clock, I'd say. Or no, I guess it'd be 9 o'clock. Jesus Christ! So barely anything.
one of those times.
But yeah, I mean that's the thing, right? Like when we did the first CROBOT record, I thought I was doing something different. I thought I was like, oh, dude, I'm gonna be like CKY was, because I loved CKY as a kid. I was like, I want to do that, and because no one else had really done that, and then everybody else started doing it too. I wasn't doing something new, and it, like, a lot of those bands got a lot bigger than us. Like Royal Blood came out around the same time, and they got fucking huge, But they are a true octave rock band. That's a genre that I reference a lot, is octave rock bands. There's a ton of them, Jack White was one of the first ones, but even though he went another way, like analog high octave up effect, as opposed to like a sub octave sort of, Digitech or, Pog. But I mean,
Have you seen his latest pedal?
I want it. Yeah, it's
that triple graph.
But yeah, because you can have one as a loop.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So I wanted to find one somewhere so I could try it out. Oh, someone told me it was so small. It's not
bro,
that small.
No, it's big. And matter of fact, that one combined with this, I mean, not combined with, but this new MXR Poly Blue octave.
I've got the Submachine and I love it.
Submachine is sick. I love it. I have that around here too. But this new Poly Blue octave, man, what the hell? It's got an expression out too, so you can basically have an expression pedal pushed into it, and any setting you put it heel down, choose whatever setting. It's got a fuzz built into it too. And then you don't save it. You just press the toe down and then set it to something else, and you can fade back and forth between 2 settings with an expression pedal, toe down, heel down. It's sick, man. This thing's dirty. I just realized it's been sitting on my floor. It's dirty as shit.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, the only reason I use the micropog is because it's so simple.
Sure.
Because everything, you can tape down you can tape it down and it's not go anywhere. That's your sound. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
yeah, I've never played with the micro. I never had a micropog, so I never really.
It's just a very like blue collar, strong octave pedal. Sounds great, but I want that thing, man.
This thing, bro. Like, so I was just been messing around with it. Like, so you got your octave down, and when you have the octave down on the momentary in the middle, if you hold this down, it takes out your original sound, and you just have the octave. So,
oh shit.
So you can make it, depending on what tone you're running it through, it can be quite like woody, like kind of almost, I put it on like a clean AC20 kind of type of setting, and you can almost make your guitar sound like a stand-up or like a flat wound, strung bass a little bit. Like, it's kind of interesting. But then you add octave up, and so if you have octave down and octave up both on, this middle momentary then adds a third octave up, or it's like it takes you like way like microtone up, and then each one of these can be momentary, so you can click these back and say just step on it for a moment and then let it off and it goes off. So these could be momentary, but this one's always momentary. It's a really cool, really well done piece.
Like, I feel like if I got that, it would get rid of like 3 pedals. Ooh. You know what I'm saying? And it would like it would compact my board and it would be more useful, and it would have me not fucking, you know, like tap dancing as much, because I'm a pedal guy. Like I tap dance like a motherfucker, and that's what impresses most bands that I tour with.
Yeah.
Is that I'm so good with my pedal shit. Like when you hear anything on a CROBOT record with that oscillator and like delay stuff everywhere, I do all that live, and
cool.
it's all with the Vox Time Machine. One of those green cheap Joe Satriani pedals you can get for like $100. I just take all the knobs off, set them to 10, and there's one knob on it that controls the time within each quadrant. So it's a 4-clicker. So when you do that, it'll click all the way down to the lowest and all the way back up. So you get this really wild warp sound that's not like on a clean knob that's like, meow. It's not the full spectrum of the warp. So that's the only pedal that I've found that I can do that with. And it's because it's the way the time is set up on a 4-clicker thing. And I just flip it with my toe and just time it. And as soon as I like, you know, I'll stop. As soon as I hit it, anything, you know, if I touch the guitar or play a note, it'll take off. So you just fuck with it like it's its own instrument, really.
Yeah.
But that one coupled with an Ibanez Echo Shifter, the one with it's got a fader on it, that's great for ethereal, like atmospheric sort of vibe. So anything that's like Queen of, I don't know, Skull of Geronimo, or just like between songs, it's big warps and stuff that dissipates. That's not like this crazy, I don't know, it's almost begins to act as a reverb, but it's a phenomenal pedal.
So are you reaching down and grabbing that fader and doing
do
these
it all
effects?
Do it all with my feet.
Oh, with your feet. Sick.
Yeah, that's why I like that one, because it's simple and easy to do with my feet, you know. Granted, I can't wear fucking hard sole boots or anything. I have to wear like Chucks or Vans, because I have to be like movable, and I have to be able to feel it on the rubber.
Sounds like you might need a custom set. You might need signature shoes, bro. Like just for being a pedal geek.
Listen, I've been trying to find someone that can customize this delay pedal for so long. You know, I'm just not to the point that, you know, someone, you know, that can, I don't know. I just haven't found the person that can do it or
Let me
wants
introduce
to do
you.
it.
Let me introduce you to my friends at Copper Sound Pedals.
Yeah, because dude, I'm telling you, like, everybody asks me about this, and it's a thing that I've found that I can't find anywhere else. And I've modded these myself, and I've paid a guy to mod them. And whenever they've done that, it's changed it, and it's not the same. I tried to put one of the knobs on a fader so I could also manipulate that with my foot, and it changed it. And also, I've had Kempers and shit. I have a Kemper. It's great, but I have to use my pedal board. There is no replacement for the way these pedals react and how I can manipulate them. You can't put it on an expression pedal because it's a smooth sweep. So there's a lot of things that's like, man, I want to make it simpler, but I can't. It's just like I've got like 5 pedals that have to be on my board for the song for CROBOT. It's just the way it is.
But that's also kind of cool, as maybe as, you know, laborious as it can be at times. Like, you've figured out a system, and it makes you and what you have to offer super unique in that way,
I
too,
love
right?
it. It's half the fun. But yeah, I mean, it's so funny you brought up that pedal, because we went to Sweetwater on this tour, and I was like, oh, they've got to have one there. I'll be able to try it out, and they did.
They sell out so fast, man. The triple graph has been they have to do them in batches, and by the time they're like done with the batch, it's already definitely sold out. So
okay, let me grab a pedal and see if you've ever heard of it. Well, so this is a really cool pedal that is on a lot of CROBOT records, and it's usually on my board.
Shit.
So it's a airplane flanger by Paul, what's his name? Shredder, Paul Gilbert.
Paul Gilbert. Oh, okay.
So it's got this cool little takeoff. It's got a takeoff button, and this controls it. And once it's set on takeoff, it's just like, sounds like a fucking bozo clown car, or you can, if you do it real fast, or you can go real slow, the airplane, but it'll take over your entire rig and be the most annoying sound in the world. But it's unique and really, really cool. You can use it for a normal flanger setting as well, but the flanger's not that great. So, and that's not a very expensive pedal. I think they have a phaser one, which is in a different color, that is like a panning phaser, which is really cool.
Oh, that's cool.
But
yeah.
it's made by Ibanez as well.
I was going to ask, if that was an Ibanez pedal. I haven't seen that one.
Oh, dude, yeah. Those Ibanez pedals like that are great. This one I love too. This is Red Panda Tensor. Have you seen these?
I have seen that. I've never played that. I do. They're very cool.
This is a really cool glitch pedal. So a lot of times, like, it's just, you never know what it's going to do. It's hard to like really, because it's the glitch is so random. But I do a lot of like noise solos and stuff like that. We're in the middle of a solo, like try to Kim Hill, like make it sound all crazy. Dude. And that's a cool pedal for that.
Yeah, what's an example of a song that you would use that pedal on?
Plague of the Mammoth. Like, I didn't when I recorded it because that came out after, but when I play it live, like there's a point in the solo where it just goes to like warp noise effects. I would use the glitch there. Okay. Or like I don't know. A lot of times when I'll do solos, I will just straight noise out. Like I'll do a big bend, put a crazy delay on, and then do wacky effects on top of that. One time we were on tour with Volbeat and Airborne, and after the first show in Denmark, we went to an after party, and some guy from Denmark came up to me and said, "You know, I do not like you. You play guitar like DJ."
That's hilarious.
I know. I was, you know, I was sort of offended, and also I was like, "Thank you for your honesty."
Yeah. If you don't have some haters, man, you're doing something wrong.
Right. This is that echo shifter that I love.
Ooh. Okay, I have seen that, but I've never played that. That is interesting.
These break all the time, man.
Oh, so you're always probably got a stack of them, huh?
Yeah, this is like one of the ones I modded. See, I put.
Is that the same pedal, but you just put it on the outside?
Yeah, put it on the outside, and I wrapped it in tape. It used to be called the Galian. I drew on it. But you can see, like, it's just this one knob I can flip with my foot.
I see.
But this one doesn't react the same. That's why I don't use that. I use the stock one because it's the best, you know. But I've got a million. I could go on for days. I've got a million pedals.
It's so cool, man. Well, you mentioned Tom Morello earlier, and obviously you've got some influence from him and his playing, and a lot of people, you know, like to reference Audioslave or, you know, his other bands when talking about your band. And I'm wondering, like, how much did you study his situation as you were coming into your own around your own playing?
1 second here. There we go. Tom Morello, I mean, growing up, he was like one of the biggest influences because he was so funky and so unique, you know, and aggressive. Yeah. So like, of course I wanted a whammy as soon as I could afford one. And single coils. There's a slap to the way he plays, and that's from playing single coils. So I only play P90s and singles now, you know. And I think that's a lot to do, you know. Couple that with an octave, and there is there's a metallic punch to the riff and you get the low fuzz to it. So it's a cool combo, you know. But to this day, Audio Slave, Rage, what's it, Street Sweeper, whatever. That he didn't put out much with that, but everything he does, I think, is gold.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, and I think what's really nice about when I listen to CROBOT and in that same respect is that there's what those guys were able to do, Rage and Audio Slave maybe especially because they had a real melodic singer, right? Chrys was
right.
Off the charts, and you guys have a singer that's off the charts too, right? So like it kind of the parallel there seems to ring true, and the real attention to songwriting while keeping things simple, like is like what really kind of shines through. I feel like in your writing and your playing and with the band is that you come through with these great hooks and these great riffs, which is something that Tom is known for, and you're able to apply them to your genre and to your situation in a really nice way.
Yeah,
it makes CROBOT very satisfying, honestly.
Well, that's so to me, like, that's the shit I've always thought was the coolest, right? Like my favorite band of all time is Clutch, and what makes Clutch cool is its big, meaty, toughy riffs and grooves,
sure.
and aggression. Like in the beginning, like the first few records, like Elephant Riders, the self-titled record, definitely Transnational Speedway, but like those records are full of aggression and groove and simple riffs that are stand the test of time, man. Like you're not gonna write anything tougher than like Iron Man. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just sort of the way it is. But that's what I've always gravitated to, and I think that's the coolest stuff, and the toughest stuff. And with CROBOT, like a lot of times I just want to get out of the I say this, but it's easier said than done to get out of the way of a really good singer, and so even like a simple riff, if it's got some movement around and you're stepping all over vocals, sometimes that vocal doesn't hit as hard. So I don't know, it's like you sort of know when to step up and sit back, but when I do step up, I'm not really shredding. I'm trying to, like, I would much rather the band play single note riffs in unison and like slam with the drums and create like a stink face, like head bob groove that people, that's undeniable,
Yeah. Oh, well, I hear that, and it's very memorable in that respect. I mean, you even some of the best guitar players that are out there shredding hard and doing real complex things,
which is awesome.
Which is awesome, yeah. And I mean, right. Most of us that play are like, "Fuck yeah!" Like we hear it, we see, but the songs that tend to last in my world, at least that I think, and with most people, are the ones that have that right amount of familiarity and that really bring you home, that kind of pay off somehow, right? In this way, and you guys have a great singer, and you have the right kind of stomping riffs that really help that always come back. And it's an art, and you guys have kind of mastered that, like in a lot of ways. I mean, especially with the new album, feel this is incredible record by the way, start to finish.
Thank you.
Really, really happy with that myself. I assume that you guys are getting some good feedback, yeah?
Yeah, people seem to really like the record, and I mean, we approached it trying to be like, hey, this is like our tribute to rock and roll, like there are songs on there that like electrifies, like Judas Priest, or like we wrote it trying to be like Neon Nights, like Dio said it, and then you've got your Soundgarden, Audio Slave taste, AC/DC, you've got some more Dio on there, and you've got some Aerosmithy sort of Better Times vibes, there's a lot of like rock, the spectrum of rock and roll is all over that record. And that's like, we wanted an iconic sort of record cover for it. So, you know, that's why we're like, it looks like a fucking like cherry pie, like an 80s
That's it.
stereotypical cover, you know?
Yeah.
And
I saw that and
yeah.
I was like, dude, that's almost like cherry pie right there. And
right. It's like tongue in cheek. It's like, which is like our live shows, like push towards like Spinal Tap almost. Like we have fun with it, you know? We have like a mini like Sword and Stones, like Stonehenge. Yeah.
Yes. Two bands that I two influences, but like sounds that I hear in this album in particular too, that are just passing, but I hear like, and maybe it's because of Brandon's vocals, but like, you know, Tesla and Skid Row, both kind of like, there's little like threads of like of that going on.
80, like, 80s metal for sure.
Yeah.
Like there's that. There's you know, we get Miles Kennedy a lot and Chris Cornell, and we get you know, early days we would get Robert Plant, you know. But I'm sort of happy to be moving away from just like the 70s bands, you know. Like, listen, I can't grow hair, dude. I'm not gonna be a 70s guy. I'm gonna be a biker dude through and through with a rat tail, you know.
Yes.
So so that's me, and I think that's the direction we're going is just much more old school metal and rock and roll.
Yeah, it's a really good this band, especially where it's at now in this form, it's a really good convergence of that kind of 80s, 90s, and early 2000s stuff, and all you guys' favorite stuff is obviously kind of there, but because there's so many good influences, even though you can pick some of it out, you guys have, you know, come together and created a new sound with it. It feels fresh. It's like, in a way, it feels like a record that I should have already heard, but it's not. It's too new to like for it to be classic, even though there's a lot of great classic tones. You know,
that's cool to hear. Yeah, it's sort of like, you know, I'm 36 and singer's 33, I believe now, and you know, so we grew up early 2000s. We were like teenage kids, so like new metal was a huge thing for us. Like we loved Machine Head and Mudvayne and Slipknot and Static X and all those bands, as well as all the huge classic bands that we learned to play our instruments when we were, you know, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. But so those find their way in there too, man, whether we like it or not. Like those big riffs, and there's nothing wrong with that, man. There was some really cool shit in those times. Like Spine Shank, like bands like Spine Shank. You remember that band?
I haven't heard about that band in so long.
Yeah, or Nothing Safe, you know, shit like that. Like really cool bands. I still like, when I hear it, I still know all the words, even though I haven't listened to it in 15 years.
Yeah, I'm a little older. I'm 45, and when Spine Shank hit, it's funny because you mentioned this. I like Spine Shank hit. I was like, okay, but I already have Deftones, so I'm good. And like, and like Slipknot's first album dropped, and my friend was like, these guys are gonna be huge, and I'm like, so it's kind of like a thrashy Korn. That's cool. I don't know, you know, like, and then but like the second album for Korn, I was like, oh, okay, or not Korn, for Slipknot. I was like, okay, these guys are establishing themselves, and I don't see them as the gimmick that I thought they kind of were in the beginning, even though, you know, the gimmick has continued on. It is what it is. But they've established themselves in a real deep way. So
right. I'm sorry, man. I think I'm gonna have to go. I've got another interview that they're hitting me up on.
Okay. Hey, man.
I'm sorry, dude. I'm not trying to bounce that on you. My manager just hit me up.
Okay. Yeah, no worries, man. I appreciate you taking the time to chat with me anyway, man. And I really love the new record, and great playing by everybody. And I hope you have a great rest of your day, brother. Let's
for sure. And listen, if you want to do it again, I love talking to you. We can geek out any fucking time you want, brother.
I'll have you back on before too long. Yeah. And I'll send Steve some information for you to get in touch with the Copper Sound Pedals guys, so you can get in line for a tripograph, bro.
Man, absolutely.
Make that happen.
Yeah, I'll send you my personal info, and we can stay in touch.
Sounds great, man. Have a
Cool.
great day. I'll talk to you soon,
All right,
Chris.
thanks a lot, bro. Thank you.
All right, take care.
Players Pick Podcast, Picks and Perspective with Chrys Johnson.
Players Pick Podcast is brought to you in part by our good friends at Dunlop Guitar Products, Diesel Custom Guitars, and our favorite new coffee company, Road Roaster Coffee. Use coupon code PLAYERSPICK for 20% off your first order at roadroastercoffee.com.